On what I've learned, especially from those experiences, is that changing your perception on distance is like the most important thing. It isn't like, I don't know, how strong you are, like blood, sweat, tears. Because when I first started out on this journey, I used to be that guy. I used to love David Goggins and be like, it's all about like gritting your teeth. No, it's go into it with an acceptance of just, I'm going to explore what there is.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the Do's and Donuts of Fitness. We have a guest today, unlike last week. But before we get into that, Hayley, how has your day been? What have you been up to?
Work, usual. It's a Thursday. Been working. I've actually done some cardio today, so you'll both be pretty proud. But yeah, I've just been working. What have you been doing, Jake?
Well, Thursday's normally my work from home day, so it's been pretty slow. I did a run last night at like 11:30 p.m. because I had to get my second workout in.
Yeah, I know. I saw that and I was like, you loser.
I just had to, right? And then I kind of just a real slow day. Went and got my hair cut, went and trained, did a little bit of work this morning. And then I had a couple of clients online as I got back. And between this and my last client, I think I had about an hour roughly, and I didn't want to do another 45-minute workout later. So I took some inspiration from our guest, went for a 45-minute run again. And yeah, that's kind of how my day's gone. So before we get into anything else, our guest today, run with Finn Hampton. How are you?
I'm great, thank you so much. I just love that both of you have mentioned like cardio, running. I feel like a bit of a fraud at the moment because I've spent the past couple of months just being super lazy. So I'm glad at least like a few of us here are doing it, even if I've been pretty slack. But I'm doing really good, thank you. Yeah, super excited to have this conversation. So thanks for having me.
So we've basically brought the 100+ marathon man on, and basically he's already said that me and Hayley are fitter.
Yeah. Right now, I have no doubt that you guys probably are.
So why don't you like introduce yourself? I mean, go as deep as you want or tell anything that's important. For anyone that doesn't know who you are, just give yourself a little intro.
Sure thing. Yeah, like you said, Jake, I'm Finn Hampton, and on Instagram, I'm Run with Finn, which obviously all my mates now just like take the piss and say, hey, Run with Finn, alter ego. It's just very much a normal guy. And hopefully when I ran all these marathons, which I'm now on 101, still remain the normal guy. Because when I started off, the whole point was just to try and do things that were super hard, but also be something that was really accessible for everyone else. So I didn't want to like go crazy with like loads of running equipment, fancy running watches or anything like that. I wore the same pair of shoes for like 40 marathons. It was just like trying to be a normal guy, but change the goalpost a little bit, because the initial thing that really like kind of caught my eye was we spend so much time doing things that we just don't want to do. So I wanted to try and really like shift the energy and be like, right, guys, let's actually do something we want to do today. And for me, that just turned out to be running. I followed my nose. Fortunately, I've got a big nose as well. So it took me a long way. And yeah, 101 marathons later, loads of running challenges. And fortunately, been lucky enough to inspire other people to do the same. And here we are today.
I think I've got a big nose as well. So I definitely have not been following that advice, because if I followed my nose, I'd probably get a little bit further than I've been doing, because I've been struggling.
I'm so happy this has come up. This wasn't planned, but I was walking like 3 days ago with my mate, and it just came to my head, like, follow your nose. And I just started laughing to myself about it. And I was like, come on, mate, that's quality. I've got a big nose. And I literally have followed it. Terrible banter, but here we are.
So
go on.
No, I'll let you go.
How and when did you get into running?
It's a good question. It's been a long time. I've ran since I was like a 10-year-old boy. I used to do cross country at school. used to win all the races. Running looks a lot different to me now. I used to be fast, and now I'm like a snail. But I've always ran. I used to imitate my dad all the time because he would go out for runs, and that was like pretty much the only exercise that he did apart from playing football. So that was just what I saw, and I would copy it. I have memories of like being in year 7 at school in like summer holidays, really hot days, and like going for runs, which now just seems insane. Like I was like 12 years old, and like run past my mates, they're out playing, and they're like, oh, Finn's on a run. So it's always been something I've done. Obviously back then I wasn't going too far, but I definitely like lost it as I got a bit older. Through college, was just playing football all the time, not that much time for running. But then my experience of running was that I always just, if I was in a really good mood, I'd run. And if I was in a really bad mood, I'd run. When I was just like plateaued in the middle, I didn't get as much done. So I can always think of like, I don't know, go through a tough time, like a breakup. My first reaction was just to go for a run, or just had a bad day at work, get out there, go for a run. Or likewise, here's some really good news. It was just like this excitement that was within me. And I knew that there was just always going to be an absolute golden nugget at the end. So I have always ran. It was only about 18 months to 24 months ago that I started to really dabble with the marathon running and have a huge shift of perception of distance. It's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following you for maybe about a year, I think.
Thanks,
because like we said, we got a mutual friend. I saw him post something about some crazy guy that's running marathon after marathon. And I think, I don't quite remember what the challenge was you were doing, but you were definitely doing a marathon a day for a while. What do you remember I'm sure you do remember what challenge you were doing. What were you doing? And like, what was it like to run like back-to-back marathons?
Sure. I think that one that you saw probably was 18 marathons in 18 days is probably the first one I did that was like maybe raise some eyebrows. Before that, I had done like 5 marathons in 5 days, 7 marathons in 7 days, but people always want more. So it probably was the 18 marathons in 18 days. And it's an interesting one because I went through the same process of everyone else. I ran a marathon and it beat me. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna run another one ever. I was in like the DOMs were real. And then how come, a bit of time passes and I felt pretty comfortable just doing marathon after marathon, even though it did stay the same physically, that you wake up and you're thinking to yourself, how on earth am I going to make this? Psychologically, you're not like up for it, but still just with the process of getting yourself out of bed, putting your clothes on, one step forward, and I'd call it, turning inward, just like not relying on like external factors, just you, your mind, your body. You can run a marathon on any given day. It doesn't matter how many you've ran before. It was a really interesting journey. And I did more after that, but I do think that once you like put yourself in that situation of getting yourself in a place that no one else really goes, it was the best decision I've ever made. And it's like in my goodie bag of life now.
18, I still can't get over 18 marathons in 18 days.
Yeah, I just finished one a couple months ago, which was, I did 22 in 23 days, which I personally think that one was more exciting because hear me out, this is going to sound crazy, but I was doing so many, especially throughout lockdown, that so many of like people I knew, they just weren't that excited anymore. Because if I got up, it would just be like, oh, Finn's just going to smash out another marathon.
Yeah, boring now.
Yeah, for sure. But that really wasn't my experience. I still, every day when I had to do one, I didn't know that I was going to make it. It wasn't like a done deal. I thought every day like, shit. But that wasn't coming across, especially with my friends or on like social media. So my most recent one where I did 22 and 23 days, I was just like going to the pub every day and drinking. Now, I know this is like a health podcast, so I can't like say that's a good thing to do, but drinking the day before or / on the day of already running a marathon was like my way of being like, screw you guys, I want to make this as hard as possible. So did a bunch of hungover marathons back to back and crazy.
That is
What-
crazy.
I mean, you say we're a health podcast, but we got donuts in the name of the podcast. So
Yeah.
we pretty much both like to eat fucking everything pretty much. The I don't know. We both love, I love all types of food, but we both really like American food. So all of those
Yes, man.
like the American, like you got donuts, treats, all of that, but like especially like barbecue food, we both go mad
Yes.
for.
Yes,
So
yes,
like
yes.
anything,
Buffalo chicken wings.
it's not super health related here. And I would say up until very recently, I'm on a small little break, but I've very much been, I mean, I think a couple of months ago, I called myself the king of balance or something like that, where I was drinking 3 times a week and smashing gym workouts. And I probably was close to the best physique I've actually been in. So I'm not sure how much of a health podcast we are actually so far.
No, I love it, man. I think, I mean, the balance is a super important one. So I do think that you see the most changes, not just physically, but like in any walk of life. I mean, there's just, your friendships, like your mental state. Balance is at the key, is the fulcrum to everything. So like, go for it. Have as much of everything as possible. Like you can, right?
Yeah.
As long as you put the work in. That's the one thing that I never really cover off whenever I say anything. You have to have a underlying commitment to yourself to work super hard. But if you have that, like, the world is yours. All the donuts are yours. Simple.
Yes, that is right. So how do we go? So if I was going to do it, how do I go from no running to running a marathon?
Yeah. So it seems like it's a big jump, because I think people then just think of like an absolute like slog, blood, sweat, tears. You're going from nothing to 26.2 miles, all on foot. I've been fortunate enough I think I've ran with over 10 people now that came from that position of not running and then just on the day ran a marathon with me. So I'll draw on that experience. I think that's real, and I'm not going to be making up any lies. But these people were like sporty. Some went to the gym, or like some played hockey. But as I think people listening, and you guys probably know, like it doesn't necessarily correspond. Like you can feel super fit in the gym, but running can feel like a big pain.
Yeah.
I have it the other way around, where I feel like I could run for days, but you put me in a gym, you guys would literally destroy me. What I've learned, especially from those experiences, is that changing your perception on distance is like the most important thing. It isn't like, I don't know how strong you are, like blood, sweat, tears. Because when I first started out on this journey, I used to be that guy. I used to love David Goggins and be like, it's all about like gritting your teeth. No, it's go into it with an acceptance of just, I'm going to explore what there is. It's a great adventure. And sometimes it'll be good. Sometimes it'll really hurt, but neither lasts that long. So if you're in a really bad moment, like it's okay, there's a good one coming. And if you're in a really good moment, like don't go too ahead of yourself. Like you still got a job at hand. But the way that I see it is with a marathon, I don't go out and think that it's 26.2 miles. The one that I ran the other day, I started out and I hadn't even ran like once in a month. So I was really starting from like a really, really bad, bless you, from a really bad fitness point. So the way that I do it in my head is I don't view it as 26 miles. It's for me, and these numbers can change. I'm do 6 miles. And when I get to 6 miles, I'll assess and I'll be like, okay, new race, let's go again. And then 6 to 12. It's just never about seeing like the huge big picture. Just work on like these small goals, and fitness wise, just take it slow. Like everyone thinks that you need to like run one really fast. It's fine to take it slow. And some of my marathons, especially when I was doing them back to back, I even walked. It's still possible to run a quick marathon and walk half a mile. It's quite impressive what can be done. So there's probably loads of stuff in there, but it's just overall an acceptance. break it down to small achievable chunks. Don't view it as 26.2 miles. Have like fun, run it with a mate. There are so many things you can do.
There's so many things you said there that I could touch on. But pretty much if you take exactly what you said and just put that into like any kind of goal for anyone, especially with what we do, a lot of the people we work with is like trying to change their body composition and a lot of people want to look better, right? Pretty much everything you said relates to that too. It's like, take it slow, don't look at the end, like have an end goal in mind, but like let's look at the small goals. But the key thing that like I took from that was where you said take it slow. A year ago I've never run over 5k. And we had a challenge at the gym, Southampton gym. It was because they're linked up with Movember. The challenge was run 6k, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be really tough. And I did 6k. I just thought, do you know what? This one I'm just gonna go out and just start really slow, like really slow, way slower than I'd ever run before, and it was quite easy. I did 6k. I was like, oh wait, I can do 6k. It's not that hard. And then I think within a month of there, me and Hayley just started running together. And one day she was just like, why don't we do a half marathon? I don't know if it was me or you that suggested Hayley, but we were just like, let's just do a half. Let's try. And I mean, I felt like shit afterwards. And the next day I hurt so bad.
No, mate, you hurt for a week.
I did. I actually did kind of injure my knee a little bit. Which was a big part of it, but I couldn't believe just by going slow and pacing ourselves how far I'd got. I kind of just thought I could never do a half marathon, and then we went from like 5k within a month. I was doing a half marathon. I know that's not quite as extreme as 5k to a full marathon, but like that changed my mindset for sure of what's actually possible in running.
Yeah, you're so right. Because when you speak about it in running terms, like personally, I find it gets quite boring. But I don't even view it as running anymore. Like it is every single walk of life that, like people, I found like they're just not open to exploring what is truly possible. Like before it's even like I've done it. You just said that you did it as well. Like before you even try, it's like I can't possibly do it. Like, you give yourself a no. I still do that in many walks of life. It feels like it's almost like just creature of habit, but that was what it was all about, right? Like broadening the horizon. So that's wicked. How's the knee now? Hope you're all right.
I ran a couple of months after that and it was still painful. And then I didn't run for a long time because I fucked my back. But that's a long story. Let's not go into that. But I was told not to run. And then eventually I was told, oh, you can run again. And I've just kind of started slowly doing bits of running. It feels fine, to be fair. I don't really know, but I don't know if I'm limiting myself again, because running, I'm doing like 6-7k quite often, but I haven't wanted to try anything more than that recently.
Hey, like 6-7k, that's a donut or two, so that's enough, right?
For sure.
Have you got any more crazy challenges coming up?
Do you know what? I actually don't have anything like written down, good to go. But there are many things that I definitely want to do. I've almost just, I finished running these 100 marathons and it felt like a big moment. Obviously, when that moment arrived, it wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. It kind of never is. Damn, the arrival fallacy. So I basically, I was meant to go to America for the summer, just spend 3 months out eating American food in Memphis, and obviously couldn't go because of COVID, which has still broken my heart. And I ended up just kind of stumbling upon walking myself into a job in London, which is now pretty corporate, and now I'm like a corporate boy. So I don't know how that happened, but that's meant that I've had to park the running. However, in the future, I've got probably 2 big things that if I die and I haven't done these, I'll be fuming. So one, this doesn't sound crazy, but I want to run to Australia, which is a long way. So I saw some guy in the news maybe like a year or two ago. He cycled, so straight away it's definitely possible. There is a route. I think you need to take a couple of ships down by Singapore area, but apart from that, you're golden. So I got crazy big goals like that. But in the meantime, every March I've pledged to do 5 marathons in 5 days. So I always have that to tick me over.
Awesome.
But it's just churn out marathons whenever I can. It's somehow.
What about an ultra marathon?
So I was actually when we were speaking about breaking it down to small parts, that was what I was going to mention. So I have ran a fair few. I did a 24-hour run. I ran like 110 miles. And I was going to say, so for this 110 miles.
For anyone just listening, mine and Haley's face at the same time was just like, I don't know what that emoji is, but where it's like, shocked.
Yeah, like ultra marathons actually, I find them probably more fun than marathons because it's messed up. But this is a kind of reverting back to the previous point, touching on the 100-mile run, which is a metaphor for life. It doesn't have to be about 100-mile runs. But I remember when I was like 15, maybe, Bradley Wiggins was doing a velodrome 60-minute world record attempt. Like, how many miles could he do in 60 minutes? And it was just like big thing on BBC One. And they did like this pre-event interview, and it's always stuck in my head. Just took a few years to really come to life. But he said, a reporter asked him, how on earth did you prepare yourself for like 60 minutes of hell? And then he just shut the reporter down and said, it's not. And then the reporter was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, if you just take it into 5 chunks of 12 minutes, well, the first 0 to 12 minutes, I can't complain because I've literally just started. So straight away, that's gone. I've already removed 12 minutes off. And he's like, with that logic, the next 12, I've just come from a fresh period, so that's not going to hurt. And he basically started just breaking it down and basically saying, it's 12 minutes of hell. And then I literally just one day when I was a bit older, applied that logic to marathons or running 110 miles or all these. I've done a lot more than that, but yeah, that was the logic. It was like, like it's never as bad as you think it's gonna be if you like change the mindset, which sounds so cliche. I actually hate saying that, but I don't know if you guys relate to that.
Yeah, 100%. I think like now, like starting to listen to you, I feel like mine's not even tough. But have you heard of the 75 hard challenge?
No, tell me more. I might have.
So there's lots of stuff in it. But one of the parts of it is 2 workouts a day. One of them has to be outside, one inside, 45 minutes minimum, which is why I was running last night at 11:30 at night, because I hadn't done my second workout.
Love it.
And I watched someone do this a long time ago, and I thought, they're fucking crazy. Like, I couldn't do that. Like, I just wouldn't be able to do it. I'm not built the same way. And then I don't know why I just started doing it. But now I've started doing it, and it's that just the mindset. Now I don't even, my legs hurt. I've ran 7 days in a row now. And one of them, we did a Tough Mudder type event. Another day I had an hour and a half football match. I haven't played that long for like 5 years. And like, normally I would do that and it'd take me 3 days to recover and I'd be complaining. But now I just get up, I do my workouts. Like, it's not even a matter of this is hard. It's just in my brain, I just have to tick those off. So there's a massive thing about I mean, you've touched on it a million times already. Like, that mindset shift is just a different thing. Once you've got that, it really helps.
For sure. So yes, I think I saw that Tough Mudder crazy thing you did. Look wicked.
It was.
So in terms of ultra marathons, like, I'm here for it. At the moment, the furthest I've ran is 110 miles. So I've got to beat that at some point.
111 miles incoming.
Man, there you go.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, have you watched the Iron Cowboy?
Oh, mate. Yeah, I love that guy.
So that, for me, I said earlier, my back was bad. There was a point where I couldn't really get off the sofa for quite a long time. And I remember watching that thinking, I'm going to do a triathlon. I will do an Ironman at some point. If this motherfucker can do 50, I'm doing one. And then since then, he's done 100 in a row. Honestly, it's just incredible.
Yeah, that was a humbling thing watching him do the 100. I mean, not that the 50 was anything bad, but just doing a marathon a day just seemed rubbish compared to that.
So yeah, I'm not trying to shit on your marathon, but come on, you got up your levels here.
I know, you know what, I'm literally the worst swimmer in the world. I would have 100% have done an Ironman by now if I could, like, I don't back myself to swim like 200 meters, let alone 2.1 miles, but maybe if I get those swimming lessons in, Ironmans could be the one. Although I did cycle a little bit recently, like more than I usually have, and it's actually mental difference in running after cycling. Found it super hard. So I think maybe I'm just a fraud and I'm going to get called out left, right, and center.
But seriously, this swimming thing, I've spoken to so many people down south and no one can swim.
I can't swim. I've been having lessons.
This is everyone I grew up with and we all went to swimming classes.
Wow. Well,
none of you guys can swim.
I think it is the norm here to be able to swim.
Yeah. I'm glad that you can't.
We're just outcasts, I guess.
I think I went to swimming lessons and kicked off, and my parents just couldn't be bothered with the ag. So yeah, now I'm stuck and probably have to just take swimming lessons as a full-grown adult, which is humiliating.
I've been doing it like the last couple of months, mate. So don't.
Cool.
But it is humiliating. I'm in the pool. There was loads of kids around me, and I'm using a fucking float, and they're just going bam, bam, like they're back and forth, and I'm embarrassed.
Who's your guy? You have to put me in touch. I'm down for it.
Yeah, there's a bit of a long story to that as to why I don't have a swimmer coach anymore, but that's fully that's an off the podcast conversation.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
But yeah, maybe if you find one, you can put me in touch now. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know where we were, but I remember you touching on you like causing a fuss and not going swimming. When I was little, I had really long hair, and they used to make me tie it up. So I never went swimming because I looked like a girl. Like when you're that age, you just look.
Yeah.
Like the hair it was so straight. I looked like a girl. And if I tied it up, I didn't want to get taken piss out of. So I just never turned up. I bunked off the swimming.
That is sad. That's if you could like insert a violin music over that story. I'm with you, man. I used to have long hair. Me and my brother as kids once walked into a barber's and like legit the woman just said, "We don't cut girls' hair," and just pointed to my brother. So I feel, yeah, we've been there with that one. And we're both shit at swimming, so maybe it's just in the long hair.
Yeah. Oh, any kids with long hair when they were younger, well, any kid with long hair just can't swim because they're too scared.
Tell that to the Australian surfer little boys. Damn, I'm jealous.
That's a true thing. So we did have some quick fire questions for you. Hayley, do you want to go with the first one?
Yeah. What is your favorite marathon?
Favorite marathon will be Rome. I ran a marathon in Rome. This was pre-Alter Ego Run with Finn. Just as I was starting to make the point that we should do things we enjoy, I booked a flight to Rome, landed, ran a marathon around the city. Although I actually didn't run around the city. I ran in like the really rough, ugly looking parts because I had no idea where I was. So I managed to find the Colosseum for the last like mile and just stayed, like hugged it because I was like, I'm not getting lost again. But I then ran a marathon and got on a flight stinking. I didn't even shower, and then came straight back home.
You literally you ran the marathon, then came straight back.
Yeah, because then the plan was to join a night out, and it was this thing. The whole point was okay, not great for the environment, so slap on the wrist for that one. But it was like, yo, I'm gonna wake up, do this cool thing, and then go join the night out. But I didn't get back in time to join the night out, so I kind of messed up. However, I just remember being like really new to running and just doing a marathon around Rome by myself. And it was just a very amazing moment of, yeah, it was just a weird moment in life. And I think on that run, I really kind of knew that at least for the next part of my life, which ended up being like 18 months, that I would try and do that kind of weird stuff as much as possible. Then COVID happened. So COVID kind of killed the whole European vibe, but we still did it in our backyard.
If COVID hadn't come around, you were doing like how many marathons? A bit like the kind of 50 Ironmans in 50 states. I could see you like dotting around a marathon a day in a different city, a different country.
It's funny you say that. Literally, like when I was at uni, I on my wall, I pinned up a map of Europe, and on it just said 47, 47, 47. There was like 47 marathons, 47 European cities in 47 days. And just due to, when I was at uni, it would have been money. I couldn't go. But then since then, like obviously COVID's kind of killed that. That was literally the challenge that was just in my mind from the off. So maybe I should do that at some point again.
That, to me, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm manifesting.
Not for me, but to me, that sounds cool.
I love how you just said that sounds cool. Not anything else he's done. Just that thing is going to sound cool.
Can you see why I just used to drink so much and run marathons hungover? Are you not entertained?
Yeah, sorry, it's taken us 37 minutes or whatever to get to the point where I'm impressed. Yeah. The 100 plus miler you did and the other 100 marathons, just not enough, mate. I need you to travel, move around.
Yeah. What is your worst running moment?
Oh God, there have been so many. God, I'm like flicking through a library. I don't know how disgusting we want to be.
Oh, go disgusting.
No, go disgusting.
Oh, okay, right. This is disgusting and also quite sad.
Hopefully this answers a question I've got written down for later.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, so this is after my Rome journey. Lockdowns happened. I'm doing 5 marathons in 5 days, which for me was like the moment where I realized, oh man, I can actually really do good, like some cooler things. And I had some Christmas present gloves that my grandparents had bought me, like little stocking filler, very cute. And it was freezing cold on this like April morning. So I whack these gloves on, go for a run. It's my 3rd marathon in 3 days. And my stomach is in bits because I'm eating like crap food. I'm like, okay, I need a shit. So I take myself off to have a shit. Look around, there's literally nothing of use to wipe. So I'm looking around, like, where am I going with this? Look at my hands. I'm like, oh, Marion and Mike, thanks for these gloves, but I'm gonna have to use these to wipe my bum. So I had to use them for toilet roll, and obviously I lost them in the deep, dark depths of the woods. So yeah, great Christmas present. Yeah, so a lot of pooing along the way.
Oh God. I'll get to the Instagram questions later, but there's a question in there that pretty much asks that. So that's the worst one. Have you got funniest or well, we've kind of done favorite, so you got any funny ones?
Funny running moments. I think when I was doing the 110-mile run in Oxford, I was just I had a lot of people with me for the first 12 hours, really nice. And then as I like ran into the night, I mean, that's a whole different story, but my housemate that wasn't really that much of a runner, he ran with me for 12 hours and ran like 60 miles. Insane. He went home, deserved rest. I ran to the night and I kept like seeing faces that weren't obviously there. But so it was like really scary. It's like pitch black, just by myself. I don't really know if it was like hallucinating, but I just remember this moment where I'm like 80 miles into a run. It's just so dark, just like laughing to myself and being like, this really isn't me. Like why did it have to be me that was the guy that was always running crazy stuff? And it was, yeah, just kind of, I picture myself a bit like the Joker from Batman. I was just like running down the road, just like laughing. Yeah, I mean, there's been so many like cool things, but you have those two off the top of my head.
I was going to say there's another the last quick fire one. When you're running, what's your go-to snacks? Or do you eat at all?
So so for like longer runs, like I'd probably eat on a marathon. Like sometimes I don't. I got to a point where I was literally doing a marathon, no water or no food. Again, just out of another little test within a test. But now, because I'm so unfit, I'll have to tap back into what I used to eat. I used to love salt and vinegar crisps. They were, life-changing. Like Soreen, like the marble.
Oh my God, Haley, you posted that today, didn't you?
I just had that today.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
I had it yesterday.
That you should just either like get a big block and wrap it up, or you can get like the little mini packets of them. So yeah, smash them. Big fan of those. What else? Anything. Like I used to buy chocolate bars, like anything sweet, anything that's salty, I'm in for it.
So real athlete food, right?
Honestly, like if I think I've done a few of these like podcasts or like questions, and honestly, people would be so ashamed of how I actually live.
all the athletes out there, like I don't know if any athletes listen to this or do listen to our podcast, but yeah, they probably all hate you.
Yeah, I know, it's tough. I went on this like running podcast with like really keen runners, and they were just like, yeah, the running industry probably hate you. I was like, oh, cheers guys for that, because I've never taken like a gel. I've never like, don't even know what it tastes like. I just eat chocolate sweets and salt and vinegar crisps.
I would prefer that.
Yeah, I think you're selling running to people that like.
Yeah,
that's why Run with Finn works.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So we've got a few questions that we want to ask that people have given us on Instagram.
Yeah, to be fair, I put this out at like 12 o'clock or some shit, and then I had quite a few responses like very quickly, and a few of them from really keen runners who might be disappointed by your answers. I'm just guessing as the way this podcast has gone. But then a few weird questions as well. So we'll just see how it goes. Do you want to do the first one, Hayley?
Yeah. So I'm hoping this is going to be a good answer. Have you ever, like, obviously you've gone for a poo, but have you ever actually shit your pants?
When you say you're hoping for a good answer, you're hoping for, yeah, I have shat my pants. I have to be really disappointing.
You've never shit?
No, I've never shat my pants.
I'll be honest. I would have been disappointed if we hadn't just heard you'd use your Christmas gloves to wipe your ass. So
yeah, I've got no shame in like just going, so that probably helps. Because I think if you're gonna poo yourself, like it's because you've like bottled it up. I'm just happy to. Do
you remember when there was Paula Radcliffe had to? Didn't she literally just have to, like, it was coming out? Yeah,
but then Paula Radcliffe probably pushes herself to places that I rarely go. But she did put herself, so at least that's 1-0 Run with Finn, I think.
Yeah.
Let's go with a more serious question. How do you decide the distance and pace you are going to run?
Yeah, that's changed. If you asked that question 2-3 years ago, it'd be very different. I only ever used to run 10K, and I'd run it almost as fast as I can. Like, it was just on repeat. That's just changed over time. And now I got asked this at work yesterday, that someone mentioned like a training program app or something. I had no idea what it was, and it was literally for runners. And they're like, how do you not know that? I've never gone out with any idea as to how far or like how quick I'm going to run. I just do what feels right on the day. I I really think that was how I was able to convert a lot of what would have just been runs into marathons. This kind of, I think I mentioned at the start a lot, but like this openness, acceptance, just to give it a go a bit. Well, very much like what you guys did on that half marathon. Like, you know, you look at each other and just go like, we're going to do this. I just have that with myself because I've got no mates. Yeah, don't get me wrong though. Like I have ran like fast 10Ks and I can run a fast 5K, but I think I can do that because of all the just like free spirited, slow, longer runs.
Maybe I think I need to do some more longer runs because I honestly, and I don't really know what it is, I can't run. I think our half marathon pace was the same pace I ran a 5K in. And that's not me saying I can run fast for a long way. That's me saying my 5K pace is fucking slow.
Yeah.
I just can't increase it.
I'll quickly give a story from the weekend. I rocked up at one of my mates' running events, and like I was so hungover, it was beyond measure. Like I had like 3 hours sleep. I was in the worst way possible. They stick me on running a sub 20-minute 5K with a girl that wants to run a sub 20, which if you're like hungover and like, I'm literally gonna be sick, that's like the hell. But after doing it, and amazingly she did it, but I thought to myself, 5K is just purely it's not really about fitness. It is just like unlocking like something in your mind that says, for these 5 kilometers I'm just gonna sprint. Essentially, if we ran one together, I reckon we'd smash it, mate.
I'm scared of that. My PB for a 5K is like 27 minutes.
Yeah, if you ran with me, I guarantee you'd knock a big chunk off that.
Right,
anyway,
that is a good challenge. Jake, you've got to do it now.
Yeah, it's true. If
I mean,
anything comes out of this podcast, obviously about my poo stories, let's hopefully the one thing is we'll do a 5K race together.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like doing a 5K race with you might be wasted. We might have to do a marathon, but
It's your words, not mine.
Yeah. I don't know why that came out of my mouth, to be honest. Let's get back onto the Instagram questions. How frequently should I be taking energy tablets? I'm just asking these as they came, by the way. So like, just gonna, yeah.
Terrible question for me because I've never had one. But for people that do, if you go on a marathon, like take 4 and spread them out over 5-6 miles.
Yeah, I like that. Haley, you can go. Next question. That was the advice of someone that's never used a gel before.
What is your favorite post-run meal? What was your go-to? What would you have every time?
You know what? Really disappointing. And I had this the other day with my best mate that ran one for the first time. On the run, you're thinking, I cannot wait to eat. Like, what always comes into my head is like cauliflower cheese, roast potatoes, gravy. But then you get to the finish line and like you're just in bits and you're not hungry for like hours after. It's really weird. So then what used to happen, especially when I moved to London and I live with the boys that I do now, I would kind of park it, not really eat that much. I would drink like just like stupid sugary drinks, and then I'd get like a Domino's pizza.
I was going to say there, when you started and you were like, you don't really get hungry. I was just about to say, when we finished our half marathon,
what did you get?
I got Domino's, and it took me, I think it was like a 10-minute walk home. It took me 30 minutes, but I devoured that Domino's when I got in.
Come on.
I fucking Domino's is, yeah, that would be my go-to pretty much every time if I'm tired.
That would not be mine. You
probably went and ate something healthy.
What did you eat?
Some vegetables.
I don't know because I can't remember, but I hate Domino's.
Oh,
I'm really sorry, guys.
That's emotional.
I know. I'm sorry.
What's your Domino's order?
It's changed over time because now I'm vegetarian, so I get a veggie volcano. I don't know if my camera, have I frozen?
I mean, I can hear you. I can't see you.
That's annoying. So I'm doing an action. Veggie volcano pizza. I used to smash a pepperoni, but those days are gone.
Veggie volcano. Not heard of that one. Might have to try it.
Spicy, man. It'll probably make you need some gloves for the man.
So the last question we had on Instagram, I don't even understand it, if I'm honest. It might not make sense, but it might just be because I have little marathon knowledge. Marathon training and any ideas for taper run distances would be super helpful.
Okay, that does make sense. So someone is training for marathon, they've done the bulk of their training, like in terms of miles, like distance, getting up to like 22 miles. And then the couple of weeks before the event, how many miles should they run? At this point, I don't really think, in nature of taper, it doesn't really matter how far you run, but I would always say that it's great to just still run like 5K a day, really slow, but just keep your body moving. All the hard work's already been done. And on the day, it never really goes the way you think it's going to go. So like, just have that in your mind as a good thing, not a bad thing. So
basically keep moving and just stay injury free before the marathon.
Like no risks, and like, just don't push it.
Cool.
Jake, I can see it on your face that you now want to run a marathon. I can see it.
But I am I love
challenges,
getting something in my head. Like if I see something, I just believe I can do it, and I want to go and tackle it straight away. I need to finish my current challenge before I do a marathon.
Finish a challenge, and then we'll have to do it together, because
we're doing marathon the day after I finish my challenge.
Oh, come on. There's I've got 100% success rate in terms of people that have come with me. So
yeah. And that's what scares me, because I know I can't fail then. But like,
you can't be the one that ruins that for
no way. That would honestly, I could not live with myself if I did that. I think that's the end of the Instagram questions. Is there any kind of message you want to send everyone off with? I'm
sure.
Really on the spot. Sorry.
No, it's cool. I'm really upset that I was frozen, but we'll get over that. A message for everyone. I suppose every day, the thing that I always have in my mind, and is a huge driving force, as to why I've done all the things that I've done. And I'm only 24, so who knows what's going to happen next, is that one day, this is going to sound really horrible, but one day we die, and you'll probably have your last donut, but you won't know it. You'll probably kiss the person you love for the last time, but you won't know it. And then there'll just be nothingness. So make the most out of this life, and be brave, be bold, and like, life's short, so just enjoy it to the full. And in that way, I think is super empowering. Like, you can go and be whatever you want to be. Boom.
But that is a good way to end the podcast.
Well, I love that. I love that so much. That's the end of it. So on Instagram, it's just @runwithfinn, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Nice and simple. See you guys next week.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks.